So here's the second part of 2.3, solving inequalities using multiplication and division. This is the modeling with mathematics part. So these are just a few word problems that I want to go through. One to break it up into 2 separate days, just to allow you some time to decompress and soak all of this math in. So long story short, you're $9.50 an hour at your summer job, right? And solve an inequality that represents the number of hours you need to work to buy a digital camera at $247. Now, nobody buys digital cameras anymore. Okay, not really you guys. Pretty much you're more invested in phones. So just view it as you're buying your phone for $247. So you have to work some hours, getting paid $9.50. So let's go 950 H. Okay, H is going to stand for hours. All right. And that needs to be greater than or equal to $247. So we're going to go ahead and divide by 950. And we have H has to be greater than or equal to. Go ahead and take that in your calculator. So you're going to do 247 divided by 950. And we got 26 hours. Now, the reason why it has to be more than or equal to 26 hours, well, you know, most places don't just allow you to work the exact number of hours you need to get something. You have to do it in shifts. So this could be like, you know, 4 8-hour shifts you have to work, or it could be, you know, 5 6-hour shifts, or it could be 7 4-hour shifts. So, or it could be any combination of that. So you guys, that's why we had to do it this way and figure it out, because now from here, we would be able to figure out the number of shifts we have to work. All right, number 7, the maximum speed limit for a school bus is 55 miles per hour. It means we can't go over it. We can drive 55, but we can't drive over that speed limit. So now it says, write and solve an inequality that represents the number of hours it takes to travel 165 miles in a school bus. And this one's tricky, okay? This one is tricky. It doesn't seem like it's tricky, all right? Because most people will set it up this way, all right? Your speed has to be less than or equal to 55 miles per hour, mph. But we need to go 165 miles. Well, here's the thing. How do I figure that out? Okay, well, we know D equals rate times time. So our distance is going to be 165. Our rate has got to be something to do with 55. And we want to know time, right? So that's going to be T. But what goes in here? And this is where you have to use your brain. Okay? It's weird. You have to use your brain. You got to figure it out. Now, this is what I like to say to you guys. When you're on a bus, is the bus ever going to get you there quicker or slower? And here's the thing. It's going to get you there slower. Okay? So now when we go ahead and solve this and we do divide by 55, okay? We get T, and we're going to get 3, okay? Now, the time it's going to take is going to take you more. It's going to take you longer than 3 hours. And that looks weird. That looks weird. How did I get to that? Okay? Well, here's how we get there. So going back here in the middle, we have our distance is 165, right? And we're going to divide that by 55, okay? Oop, forgot the equal to. So we're going to divide that by 55 to get our time, because T equals RT, and distance divided by rate is our time, okay? So we have that inequality, which leads us to that middle piece, and there we go. I like to think of this better as, well, let's use our brains, okay? Buses are notoriously slower than a car or anything else. So it's always going to take you longer. I would pay attention to that question. So you have at most $3.65 to make copies. Each copy costs you 25 cents. Write and solve an inequality that represents the number of copies you can make. Well, 25 cents per copy. Let's use C for copy. Well, that has to be less than or equal to 365. So now we're going to go ahead and divide by 25 cents. We're going to get C is less than or equal to. So I type this in. And the funny thing is we get this decimal, 14.6 copies. Well, wait a second. You can't make 0.6 of a copy. So C has to be less than or equal to 14 copies. All right, again, it has to be that because you can't have 0.6 of a copy. You either copied it or you didn't. You earn $8.50 at your after-school job, right? And solve an inequality that represents the number of hours you need to work to earn $187 to buy a tablet. So $8.50 times H has to be greater than or equal to 187. Divide by $8.50. All right, remember, all this is money. We're after the hours. So you have 187 divided by 8.50. We're going to get 22 hours. Last but not least, you run at a speed of 6.3 miles per hour. Your friend says if you continue to run at this speed, you will not be able to complete a marathon in less than 4 hours. If a marathon is 26.2, is your friend correct? Use the formula D is less than or equal to RT. So the distance is 26.2 miles is less than or equal to your rate, which is 6.3 miles per hour, which is just shy of a 10 miles per hour. Okay. Now we have time. Okay, is it less than 4 hours? Okay. So we're going to write a T here, and we're going to go ahead and divide by 6.3. 6.3. So 26.2 divided by 6.3, we're going to get 4.15 E. So I'm going to say, I'm going to change that to 4.16. Now, if you run at 6.3 miles per hour, it's going to take you longer than 4 hours. So your friend is correct. Another way you could have done this was you could have done 6.3 miles per hour times 4 hours. If we do that, 4 times 3 is 12, carry my 1. 4 times 6 is 25. So we would actually only be able to complete 25.2 miles, which is less than the 26. So there you have it. All right. See you guys soon.